Hey guys, it's personal injury and accident attorney Kevin Sullivan from Pipas Law Group coming at you today with another video, and it's about kind of a myth when it comes to car insurance and personal injury matters, and that's known as full coverage. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are sitting there right now saying, I have full coverage on my insurance, when you probably don't. And the reason that is because when your insurance agent describes to you full coverage in the state of Florida, they're actually likely only selling you the statutory requirements known as property damage that only covers the other vehicle if you were at fault for the accident, and then that famous PIP coverage, also known as no fault coverage, which does cover your medical expenses, but it only covers 80% of those medical expenses up to $10,000. So what are you to do? Well, you need to call your insurance adjuster and act like you're at a fancy restaurant. Now, you're thinking to yourself, what does a fancy restaurant have to do with car insurance other than that they're both very expensive? No, in all seriousness, you have to treat it almost like ordering a la carte, meaning if you go to a fancy restaurant and say, I'd like a meal, that can mean a lot of different things, similarly to full coverage. So if you go to a fancy restaurant and say, I want a meal, they may only bring you an entree or a salad or really part of the meal, even though you thought you were ordering a meal. You don't get the appetizer, the salad, the main entree, the sides, the dessert, the drink. All those you have to order separately. Very similar to auto insurance. So what do you need to do? Number one is you need to make sure that you have uninsured motorist coverage. That means that if somebody else hits you and doesn't have bodily injury coverage, because it's not required in the state of Florida, it is not mandatory. So if they hit you and either do not have bodily injury coverage or do not have enough bodily injury coverage, then you will be covered up to those limits. Number two is that you need to ask for collision coverage. That means that if somebody hits your vehicle and only has the $10,000 statutory requirement for property damage, then your vehicle will be covered up to your collision insurance amount. Number three is you need to make sure that you have medical payments coverage. Basically, that's going to cover the 20%, and if you have a deductible when it comes to your PIP coverage, that will not come out of your pocket as long as you have the medical payments coverage, and that usually goes in either increments of $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, or $10,000. Some insurance providers offer more than the normal $5,000 to $10,000. But make sure you ask for medical payments coverage, or even though you have personal injury protection coverage, you may be on the hook. Number four, you need to make sure that you have rental car coverage. I cannot tell you how many times I've had clients come to me and say, I need a rental car to go to work or go to the doctor's appointments, and there's not enough property damage coverage for the at fault in order to get them a rental car. So make sure you cover yourself and get rental car coverage. Finally, and a little bit more detailed, but to really get that kind of full coverage value, you may want to talk to your insurance company about an umbrella policy. This is especially important if you had significant assets and need to protect yourself, but obviously you can talk to your insurance agent or adjuster about that in more detail. Wanted to put it out there. I'm only an accident attorney, well, which I'd like to say I'm more than that, but for this purpose, I'm only an accident attorney. I'm not an insurance adjuster or agent. So if you want more specifics, you need to call them. But make sure you mention these a la carte terms in order to make sure you have as close to full coverage as possible. Any questions, as always, feel free to reach out to me at lawkevin.com. Thank you guys so much. Stay safe, and I will talk to you soon.